Bonjour, voici vidéo 5G sur les pronoms interrogatifs. Interrogative pronouns are pronouns that we use to ask questions. We've seen these many times. Two of the most common that we've seen are qui, who, and que, what. And of course we've also seen qui combined with est-ce que, qui est-ce que, or que combined with est-ce que, qu'est-ce que, again to ask the question who or what when using est-ce que instead of inversion or maybe just even intonation. There are a few other forms that we're going to add today for the interrogative pronouns, and that is what we saw earlier with our vocabulary, qu'est-ce qui. This is kind of a combination of both. Qu'est-ce qui, if you remember back from your vocabulary, qu'est-ce qui compte le plus dans la vie? What counts the most in life? So we use qu'est-ce qui as the subject of the question. So qu'est-ce qui is going to be followed directly by a verb. It is the subject of the question. When we use qu'est-ce que, that's the object of the question. And we'll see some examples that will clarify this, I think. But if you look in your book, it gives you that example from the beginning of the vocabulary section, qu'est-ce qui compte dans la vie, what matters in life. Another example that we have to look at, another difference that we have to look at, is using prepositions with qui and que. We can say, with whom do you visit? Or something along those lines, and then we would just add the preposition à qui. We could say de qui, from who, or from whom. We could also say sur qui, on whom, although that might be a little bit of a weird question, but I could see a time when you might say that. The change comes when you want to use these prepositions with the interrogative pronoun que. When you use à, de, or sur, or any preposition with que, it's going to change into quoi. So we have à, quoi, for what, to what, de quoi, of what, that's Q-U-O-I, and sur quoi, on what, or any other preposition. Que gets turned into quoi. Okay, so new things for today were qu'est-ce qui and this whole que changing to quoi. All right, let's look at exercice X. Exercice X à la page 84. 84. By replacing the italicized words, formulate questions that would evoke these answers. So, Monsieur Jourdain lit le journal. So we want to ask who reads the paper. Who is the subject? It's a person, very straightforward. Qui. Qui lit le journal? Who reads the paper? Numéro 2. Je vois Marianne. I see Marianne. So I want to say, who do I see? Who do I see? Again, I have a person, so I'm going to go with qui. Qui. What? You really want vois-tu. Who do you see? And then the answer would be, I see Marianne. So, qui vois-tu? Who or whom do you see? Numéro 3. Monsieur Jourdain lit le journal. Same sentence as number 1, but this time the journal, the newspaper, is highlighted. So we want to say he reads what? What does he read, in other words? In this case, we have a thing, and we have an object, so we've got to use qu'est-ce que. Qu'est-ce que Monsieur Jourdain lit? What does he read? You could have also said que lit Monsieur Jourdain. I don't know if we've seen that form before, but that is a possibility. If you came up with that, it would not be wrong. You would be correct in saying that as well. Numéro 4, la fenêtre est ouverte. The window is open. So we want to say what is open? Okay, here's where we have a subject and a question. So we need to have a subject for grammar's sake, and this is where we're going to be using that qu'est-ce qui. We don't have an object like the journal. We have a subject, so we need qu'est-ce qui, because of the subject, qu'est-ce qui est ouverte? What is open? The window is open. Okay? Numéro 5. Monsieur Legrange parle au gendarme. Mr. Legrange is speaking to the policeman. So we have a preposition here. To whom is he speaking? So we've got to have a to. And if it's a person, straightforward, à qui parle-t-il? Okay, they use Monsieur Legrange and they did it this way. So à qui Monsieur Legrange, Monsieur, parle-t-il? That's a good practice for our questions with inversion and repeating the subject. But you could have also said à qui est-ce que Monsieur Jourdain parle? You could have used est-ce que as well. Alright, I'm just going to erase that arrow so I have some more room. Numéro 6. Je pense à mon ami. I think about my friend. Here again, we have a preposition à. We're talking about a person, so I've got to use à qui. À qui penses-tu? About whom are you thinking? In English, we would say, who are you thinking about? Numéro 7. Le professeur parle du peintre Monet. The professor is speaking about the painter whose name is Monet. So here we have the preposition de. We've got to take that into account. De and a person has to be de qui parle-t-il or de qui le professeur parle-t-il. Either one would be acceptable. Et la dernière, numéro 8, Paul fait des recherches sur les valeurs. Paul is doing research on values. So we have a preposition, sur, but we also have a thing, not a person. Values are a thing, so we need our preposition, sur, but we need our word to denote a thing, and we've got a preposition, so that makes it quoi. Sur quoi Paul fait-il des recherches? On what is Paul doing research? What is Paul doing research on? In English, we don't mind ending with a preposition, but in French, they do, so that preposition comes first. All right, well, that concludes this section. Any questions, as always, feel free to email me. Au revoir.